You can see his eyes are shut. You can see the bridge of his nose, and you see his mouth looks like it's open. You see the hair goes around his head. This is how they look.
Have you ever wondered what truly walks the forests when no one's around to see? What if the answer has been caught, not by chance, but by silence? By a hidden camera, deep in a place no one dares to go? It started with a motion-triggered alert. Just another test in a string of late-night surveillance drops meant to monitor wildlife in a stretch of untouched forest, thick, remote, and unwelcoming. But what this camera caught wasn't a deer, and it wasn't a bear. In the low glow of infrared, a massive figure, upright and impossibly tall, moves through the trees like it owns them.
That is a nice print. That's the same size as we always find here. So they're coming through. He came through to check and see if we've been back. That's my...
What if the creature you've been hunting was already watching you, closer than you ever dared to imagine? One night in the dense wilds of North Florida, two seasoned researchers found themselves within 10 yards of something growling, something with red eyes, size 16 footprints, and the power to trigger car alarms without ever being seen. Was it the elusive skunk ape? Or something even stranger? Welcome to Bigfoot Stacy, a raw and relentless YouTube channel that's earned respect in the cryptid research community for boots-on-the-ground investigations into Florida's wildest Bigfoot territory.
Parked out so that we wouldn't disturb anybody. Parked out pretty far from where everybody would be. Locked the truck up, started to go on our way.
Known for their no-fluff, deep woods approach, Bigfoot Stacy and his team have been documenting the unexplained for years, particularly through their Apalachicola skunk ape project. This isn't just another shaky cam cryptid chase. This is methodical research fused with real danger and real evidence. In this chilling segment from September 24, 2016, two members of the team returned to a known habituation site deep in the Apalachicola wilderness, just after a terrifying overnight encounter. The energy was tense, the story was fresh, and something had been watching them. But it wasn't just the darkness they were up against.
Today is September 24th, and I'm David Lauer, investigating one of our Apalachicola tracks, one of our habituation sites out here last night.
That night started like many others, with equipment checks and a quiet walk through the woods. But when their vehicle alarm began blaring in the middle of nowhere, things quickly escalated. They circled the truck, alone in the woods, and that's when they noticed strange streaks on the hood.
There was some activity. There was an encounter that happened about 65 yards over here from this.
Before they could make sense of it, a deep guttural growl shattered the silence. It came from just 10 yards away. What followed was a moment of raw fear. Red eye shine flickered from behind a tree.
My buddy sat and watched, saw a red eye shine, watched it for about 20 seconds to make sure.
One of the men watched it, unblinking, for nearly 20 seconds. His partner caught a 2-second glimpse before the creature vanished. They sat frozen, overwhelmed by what had just happened. Watch for yourself how close they came to the unknown.
You can see it's roughly 16.5 to 16 inches long. A few feet in front of that, and this impression here.
But the next day is where things took a turn toward scientific credibility. The team began scanning the area. What they found wasn't vague or anecdotal, it was tangible. A trail of massive tracks led up and down a hill, one after another. Some measuring 14 inches, others 16 inches, pointing toward the possibility of multiple creatures in the area. The prints showed clear toe indentations.
And this track also measures roughly 16 inches
and
as well.
We're walking down this trail checking for any more tracks from the encounter we had last night.
The team didn't just observe, they began casting them, preserving physical evidence for study. And here's where it gets interesting. These tracks weren't random. They were found near a food plot, game trail, and young pine thickets, a perfect corridor for a creature that knows how to move unseen. These weren't just footprints. They told a story of presence. one that couldn't be easily dismissed.
Yeah, food plot.
Food plot. You can see it's approximately 14 inches long. Here's the heel. Here's the toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
When one of the prints was examined, 5 distinct toe impressions were visible. Another track nearby was nearly identical in size, proof that at least 2 separate animals were walking that trail. And where there are tracks, there's the potential for hair snags, the next target in the team's search. Listen closely to their real-time analysis and the growing realization. They were not alone. Watch for yourself as they uncover the trackway.
You can see the indentation of the brake. And on further inspection, we have a game trail right here.
Throughout the investigation, the team's tone shifts from cautious skepticism to quiet awe. They've seen many things out in the woods, but this event, these tracks, and that growl all added up to one of their most compelling experiences yet. And when you hear them say, "This is the best find we've had to date," you realize this wasn't just another night in the woods.
The ones we found closer to the parking lot pad were also 16.
This was a turning point. As they continue casting tracks and connecting patterns, one statement hits hard. They're here. That sentence doesn't come lightly from these guys. It's a conclusion built on experience, repeated signs, and now physical evidence. The tracks led straight down a trail to a half-pad print with all 5 toes still visible, being cast right there on camera. See for yourself what convinced them this wasn't a one-off encounter. Play here.
Sir, we're at our habituation site, September 24th, Apalachicola Track.
So, here's the question. Are these just legends? Or are we finally getting closer to understanding a creature that's been slipping through human fingers for centuries? Let us know in the comments. Do you think the Apalachicola skunk ape is real? And what would you do if you heard that growl in the dark? A dark figure nestled beside the tree, still, quiet, breathing. That's all it took for everything to change. When Todd Standing saw this video, raw, unedited, and quietly powerful, he didn't just see a figure in the woods. He saw something that could change everything we think we know about Sasquatch. Because this wasn't just any video. This might be the first clear sighting of a baby Bigfoot. And Todd didn't sit on it. He immediately posted his findings on his YouTube channel, Discovering Bigfoot, a platform where he's spent years documenting encounters, analyzing footage, and collaborating with scientists to bring the truth about Sasquatch into the light. But this clip, it shook him. It redirected his focus, and it set off a new wave of speculation among Bigfoot researchers. Watch yourself.
Fantastic show for you that I was supposed to do last week, but it got delayed because while I was doing the research, I made a new little discovery that changed everything about this video. Totally switched it around because I was so excited to show you precisely what a baby Bigfoot looks like, what a young Bigfoot looks like, and get into the details of that. And then I learned something at the very end that I'll show you that'll bring this all together and solve this mystery. But one thing that I can start you with and I can tell you with is this is exactly what a baby Sasquatch looks like.
As Todd's voice breaks the silence, he's trekking through a remote Canadian forest, rugged terrain underfoot, every step methodical. The camera pans right, and that's when we see it. A small figure, humanoid, crouched low, partially obscured by leaves and brush. But there's no denying the shape. Wide-set eyes, a rounded forehead, delicate facial features. It's not a full-grown Sasquatch. Watch yourself, the figure shifts.
Took this video a couple weekends ago. I was heading up the hill, hiking up in the woods, and I stopped to catch my breath, and then I saw something dark over by this tree, so I started filming it, and it was kind of poking out from behind a tree. So I zoomed in on it, and I'm going to lean to my left to try to get a better view of it. And check this out. Right about now, I lean to my left. Bam! Look at that. The Sasquatch passed out. It's sleep.
Not like a deer, not like a bear. Something more deliberate, more aware. Todd zooms in slowly. The creature remains calm, blinking, breathing, almost watching him. Skeptics might say it's a juvenile bear, but play it back, frame by frame. No snout, no ears. The shape of the head, the jawline, the expression. It mirrors human features far too closely. Todd's voice tightens. It's not alone. Watch yourself as another figure enters the background.
He's physical enough where you can see his facial features. I'm gonna keep going here. Check it. That's some good stuff right there. And I feel bad because I'm up there walking around and he's trying to sleep. And he looks like he's totally passed out and just out. And some of you are going to be like, well, why didn't you walk up to him and wake him up? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a respect for them.
Larger, shadow-like, staying just out of focus. It's the presumed adult, likely the mother. The baby never cries out, never flees, never panics. It just watches, calmly, almost trusting. Todd later explains on Discovering Bigfoot that this was the first time he's ever encountered what he believes to be a family group, a unit, one watching the other, one protecting from afar. And this baby? The clearest evidence yet of generational Sasquatch existence. In later breakdowns, he overlays skeletal comparisons. The nasal cavity is wider than a human child's, the upper lip more protruding. The orbital structure, deep set, with shadowing consistent with known adult Sasquatch visuals. And if you're wondering whether it was staged, Todd includes full-length footage with no cuts, no suspicious edits. Even vocalizations. Subtle huffing, light gravel movement. Ambient forest sounds remain consistent. Watch yourself as he approaches cautiously.
And they run off, they play games, they little brats, they do things. I've seen this in the trackway, where in the snow I've seen a mother chase a Sasquatch down and pick him up, dive on him because he's being a little brat. And as a parent, I can see that too. 1 to 3 year olds can be really bratty. Can you imagine a wild 1 to 3 year old? They're just starting to run, they're being disobedient. Like by the time they get to the older age, the adolescence age, they get, they've been disciplined, they understand the power of the father, the masculine tunes them in, they respect the mother a little more.
No sudden movements. Just slow, respectful observation. The baby figure disappears behind a bush, but not in panic. It simply lowers its body. Observers call it the ground melt technique, where Sasquatch flatten themselves into terrain, vanishing from sight without running. Todd's followers on Discovering Bigfoot weren't divided. Many called this his most important find. Some even believe it proves intergenerational behavior, something rarely discussed in cryptid circles. The idea that Sasquatch raise their young, not just survive, but build social units. Could this be why we've never captured one alive? Because they're smarter than we think? Because they're born learning how to remain invisible? Watch yourself.
And probably because maybe 2 weeks ago I was thinking about it, right? Actually, not probably. I was doing a video about it a couple weeks ago and this pops up and that's exactly what I've been looking for. That's exactly it. But there's no blinking, there's no head movement, and then the branches and everything, the eyes all apt to be just everything was put in place properly to look like a young Sasquatch. And it's just not the case. So, how do I move on from this? Well,
Todd revisits the site days later. The impressions are still there, smaller prints beside larger ones. He casts both, and this time brings infrared, no thermal signatures, no heat traces. But that silence, it feels heavier, as if they know he's back. Whether or not you believe in Bigfoot, this moment, the baby in the bush, the mother nearby, the silent agreement between observer and observed, it's haunting, it's intimate, and it's one of the most powerful moments ever recorded on the Discovering Bigfoot channel. Are we ready to accept that there might be not just a creature in the woods, but families, generations, Infants raised with purpose and protection? And if so, how much longer can they remain hidden? Let us know what you think. Was this a real juvenile Sasquatch sighting? Or is there a more grounded explanation we're missing? Hit subscribe, share your thoughts, and stay with us as we dive even deeper into the wild truth. Because what you just saw might be history in the making. What if the creature long believed to be a backwoods legend is actually carving out a home in Florida's swamplands? Could the elusive skunk ape really be building shelters right under our noses? The YouTube channel Sasquatch. Florida isn't just asking these questions. They're out in the field trying to answer them. Their mission is intense and long-term, to track down undeniable evidence that Sasquatch, or the skunk ape as it's known locally, is real and roaming the wetlands of Florida.
This is really interesting. The scratches. I don't want to lose track of where I came in.
Their team ventures into the dense, often unforgiving terrain every month, staying patient, methodical, and focused on documentation. No hype, no shortcuts, just boots on the ground and cameras rolling. In this unedited video titled, "Possible Skunk Ape Sleep Shelter Found."
See that tree? Whoa! Wait a minute, don't get excited.
The investigator navigates through thick cypress groves and root-wrapped riverbanks. The area he's exploring was fully submerged just 6 months earlier. Now, with water levels down, the land has revealed something unexpected, a shelter-like structure that defies easy explanation. The footage begins calmly.
What I observe. Anyway, what I observed is that this would have been 6 months ago underwater.
He points out how the earth here operates with a kind of natural intelligence. Cypress roots rising above ground, soil adapting to the shifting swamp water. But what starts as an ecological observation turns into a discovery with cryptid implications.
Those are roots of the cypress trees that grow out of the ground. And the prevailing theory used to be somehow they were trying to.
It's a dome-like mass of intertwined branches, palmettos, and bent foliage. Nothing about it looks accidental. The layout appears intentional, shaped with symmetry, and large enough to accommodate a creature the size of a human, or something even larger. And tucked just inside the structure is something strange.
The burn, that type of trail I found was up there.
A discarded plastic water bottle. The floor of this hidden spot? Completely flattened, as if something large had been regularly lying inside it. The investigator takes note of this. Its kit, its protective form, the care with which materials appear to be woven together. The structure doesn't match anything known to be naturally occurring in this kind of environment.
I'm not a structure guy.
He pauses to consider the possibilities. Could a person have made this? Maybe, but if so, why here? Why in a location that was recently underwater, far from any path or sign of human activity? Then there's the water bottle, a detail that seems minor until you realize it could carry DNA.
Dude, look at this.
Watch for yourself as the camera moves into the core of this strange construction. What makes the moment even more compelling is the investigator's clear sense of discomfort.
Beavers? Because if there was water here, I don't know.
This isn't a staged performance. There's real uncertainty in his voice as he circles the structure, visibly piecing together what he's seeing. He's seen odd branch piles before, but this feels different, more deliberate, too deliberate. Then, a subtle shift in the environment catches his attention. Faint knocks or thumps in the background. He freezes, trying to locate the source.
I don't know what this is. Hope that's not bees.
The quiet turns tense. It's the kind of moment that makes even a seasoned explorer reconsider their next step. There's no special effects here, just raw footage and real reactions. This isn't about making Sasquatch glamorous. It's about honestly investigating what's out there, one discovery at a time. Watch for yourself when the tension builds and something strange is heard just outside the camera's view.
Look at that. The pomphrantons. Hey, you people thought I was full of shit about the cove.
Back inside the shelter, the camera lingers on what looks like tangled clumps of material lining the ground. At first glance, it appears to be grass, but its density, color, and placement raise doubts. Could it be something else? Something organic? Whether natural or not, it adds to the mystery. Throughout the video, the investigator avoids leaping to conclusions, and that's key.
Is that fur or grass? It's probably grass.
He's not presenting this as proof, but as a genuine find worth examining. And that's what separates Sasquatch Florida from so many others. They document, they observe, they keep going back. Watch for yourself how he reflects on how this entire zone, once underwater, now conceals a built formation.
Yeah, with a plastic water bottle?
This shelter find may not confirm the existence of the skunk ape, but it adds a compelling puzzle piece. When combined with other documented structures, tracks, and vocalizations from similar areas, it raises serious questions. Something is out there, and someone, or something, may be living much closer to humans than we realize. So what do you think? Was this a coincidence of nature?
The Earth has an immune system.
Or a sign of something with intelligence, perhaps something not yet acknowledged by science? Could the skunk ape finally be narrowing the gap between legend and reality? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you've seen anything like this, anywhere, now's the time to speak up, because the investigation isn't ending here. It's only getting deeper.
Your immune system. So the Earth has an immune system. Enough of my philosophy. I can't prove any of that. But it's just...
Have you ever wondered if cryptids like Sasquatch are more than just legends, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Deep in the forests of Connecticut, Real American Monsters takes viewers on an unforgettable journey to track down and document the cryptid phenomenon. Chris Reinhardt and his team dive into the mysterious and often chilling world of Sasquatch encounters, bringing first-hand experiences and the search for answers into the light. What they uncover in Larry's Woods might just change everything they thought they knew. Real American Monsters is a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the mysterious and often terrifying world of cryptids that exist on the fringes of known science. Led by Chris Reinhardt.
So today is the first time we have ever found knuckle prints. This is how grown in it. I just want to...
The channel embarks on expeditions deep into unexplored terrains to capture elusive creatures on camera, document strange encounters, and dive into the history and science of these elusive beings. The channel's investigations offer a unique blend of boots-on-the-ground research, scientific methods, and thrilling experiences.
When they have, it's got 3 heavy-duty things, and then it just, I can see it. Clips right in.
When Chris steps into Larry's Woods, the place feels different. The air is thick with the weight of past encounters, the scent of damp earth mixing with the subtle whispers of the forest. As they start to investigate, the first thing Chris notices is a set of footprints, measuring 39 inches in stride length.
Is 39 inches.
This is a familiar sign, a footprint that matches what they found before in the same area. But something has changed. This time there are knuckle prints near the path, showing that the creature may have traveled on all fours.
Look, you can see the toe and everything. See it?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a nice one.
Chris's footsteps crunch on the dry foliage as he inspects the ground. The first sign of activity is a series of prints stretching out in a familiar stride length. But it's the knuckle prints, clearly visible, that indicate a more deliberate movement, something large, moving in a way not seen before.
Here it is about 62 degrees. Beautiful, beautiful day, and we're getting in the woods.
As Chris moves deeper into the woods, he discovers that the gifting site, a place where offerings have been left before, still holds some secrets. The basket remains in place, but the apples and peanut butter jar, gifts left behind on previous trips,
But they didn't come back. All the apples are gone. How do you know? I don't understand that.
are gone. This is a clue. Something or someone has taken the offerings. The creatures in these woods are not passive. They are engaging, leaving behind signs and messages that are difficult to ignore. The gifting site looks almost unchanged.
Probably a bear. But if it was a bear, he'd see that peanut butter and grab it.
Except for one major detail. The apples and peanut butter jar are missing. A footprint found near the rock suggests that the creature is not just accepting gifts. It's aware, it's intelligent, and it's responding in its own way.
We're looking at
As Chris continues to document the scene, the evidence grows stronger. There are more knuckle prints, 4 deep grooves pressed into the earth beside a footprint. This is no coincidence. Something large, something heavy has passed through, using all 4s to maneuver through the area.
well, it's sunk in, so it's like 6, like 5.5, 6.
It's clear that this isn't just an animal. It's a being with purpose, with intention. Chris crouches down, inspecting a fresh knuckle print beside the footprint. The prints are clear and unmistakable. This is more than a random creature roaming the woods. This is something that uses its fists to move through the forest.
I'm really excited to see the same print. I'm really excited to see that.
Something that's aware of the surroundings and intentionally leaves these marks behind. The team doesn't waste any time. Chris sets up new trail cameras in strategic spots to capture any future movement. Pheromone chips, known for attracting cryptids, are placed around the area to encourage a response. As the cameras are positioned, there's a sense of anticipation in the air. The woods are silent, but the evidence suggests that the creature is watching, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself again. In these woods, the cryptid is not just a figment of imagination, it's a real presence, and it is actively interacting with the team.
Just got to get them back. And I guarantee you they're gathering somewhere else. They're just not in this area because there's nothing here to gather. There's no nuts.
The broken branches, the knuckle prints, the missing gifts. All of these signs suggest something beyond what mainstream science can explain. Are cryptids like Sasquatch simply myths? Or are we on the verge of discovering an entirely new species? One that has remained hidden in the shadows of human understanding for centuries.
It was leaned up like this.
Yeah, there was an X right there.
Yeah, it was the X.
Yep. Check this one out.
As Chris and his team prepare for the next phase of their investigation, they know one thing for sure. This mystery is far from over. The signs are there, and they will keep looking for the answers. What do you think? Are cryptids truly out there, waiting for their moment to be discovered?
That is a nice print. That's the same size as we always find here. So they're coming through. He came through to check and see if we've been back. That's my guess.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more chilling investigations into the world of real American monsters. Stay tuned for the next episode, where they'll dive even deeper into the mysterious woods to uncover more evidence and perhaps, just maybe, capture the elusive creatures on camera.
Bridge pieces from Colorado and from me. Peanut butter is wedged in the tree. We found a knuckle print. And
Have you ever felt like something was watching you deep in the woods? Something not quite animal, not quite human? What if the forest wasn't empty at all, but occupied by something we don't fully understand? Welcome to the shadowy trail of the unknown. And this time, we're not alone. This is the world of Sasquatch Presence, a YouTube channel that doesn't just chase myths, it steps right into them.
Right down the road from Lake Hemet, here in the brambles, the brush. This area hadn't burned in a long time. There had been a lot of fires somewhat in the area.
From remote California wilderness to abandoned desert lands, Sasquatch dives headfirst into the eerie and unexplained. It's a boots-on-the-ground exploration of high strangeness, where sightings of Sasquatch, Dogman, and other cryptid creatures.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, a Bigfoot could probably do okay out here. There are cattle. On the way in, I saw sheep and goats.
Are taken seriously, not sensationalized. This particular adventure begins with an intended hike to the Black Mountain Trail in the Idlewild Pine Cove area. But nature reroutes the plan.
9mm casings, great. Since it did just rain and snow, we have a lot of fresh dirt.
Deep snow and impassable roads push Sasquatch to a detour, Forbes Springs Road near Lake Hemet. And that's where things take an unexpected turn. As he steps out into the crisp, quiet morning.
It's so hard living in Southern California, trying to be a Sasquatch paranormal researcher.
What begins as a simple exploratory hike quickly transforms into something much more compelling. The area is isolated. Towering cedar trees, patches of pine, thick manzanita undergrowth.
Hoping it's too cold for snakes, because this looks like it would be prime rattlesnake territory.
It's the kind of terrain that could hide anything, or anyone. Play here. Sasquatch begins his trek off Forbes Springs Road after Black Mountain access is blocked by snow, unknowingly entering a more mysterious trail. Sasquatch doesn't just hike, he observes.
Coming up here a long enough time to know that in a couple weeks most of the snow will be gone, so I probably can't go back to Black Mountain.
He points out signs of wildlife, deer trails, coyote scat, even mountain lion tracks. But then comes something that doesn't quite fit. In a dried-up creek bed, he notices a deep impression in the sand, larger than a human foot, and with unmistakable toe definition. Not fresh, but not old either. It's not shaped like any known boot print or typical animal track. There's something off about it, something deliberate. That's the kind of thing this channel is built on. Not fantasy, but anomalies. Sasquatch documents what he sees without jumping to conclusions.
Something coming through here. Interesting.
Yet his tone shifts slightly when describing the feeling in the air, like being watched. Not in the paranoid sense, but in that primal, hair-on-your-neck standing-up way that makes your instincts whisper, "You're not alone."
Indentation? A paw print? Huh. Look at that. Toe, 1, 2, 3, 4.
He discovers a large, unusual footprint with toe impressions, a silent signal that something large passed through recently. Further in, he stumbles across another oddity. an unusually large indentation along a side trail.
Almost like a partial print again.
No clear print, but something heavy made contact there. It's details like these that form a breadcrumb trail of high strangeness, a trail you'd miss if you weren't looking closely. And what's especially compelling, this isn't deep in an uninhabited jungle. It's within reach of civilization, just remote enough to stay hidden in plain sight. The trail is seldom used. The time, early morning in cold weather, is precisely when few dare to venture out.
Indentations. I guess I should look up now and then, right?
That's the secret sauce to cryptid research, Matt Squatch explains. Low traffic areas, off-season visits, and the willingness to wander just a little deeper than most. But this video isn't just about finding footprints. It's about sensing presence. The moments when Matt Squatch pauses, quiet, scanning the brush, noticing that birds have stopped chirping, or that the wind feels a little heavier. That's where the mystery lives. Not always in what you see, but in what you feel. By the end of his hike, it's not a loud encounter or dramatic reveal that leaves a mark. It's the accumulation of subtle clues.
Tracks and prints.
The kinds of things seasoned trackers notice and skeptics brush off. The questions raised by this short detour are bigger than the hike itself. What kind of creature leaves a 15-inch print in soft earth? What kind of intelligence avoids trail cameras and human eyes, yet leaves behind just enough to make you wonder? Play here.
I'm at 12. Hold on, let me cut the camera and take some stills.
A palpable shift in atmosphere. Matt Squatch experiences an eerie feeling of being watched, intensifying the mystery of the terrain. Matt Squatch doesn't set out to prove Bigfoot exists. He sets out to document what's out there, and sometimes what's out there is far stranger than fiction. So the next time you find yourself deep in the woods, ask yourself, are you really alone? What if alien life wasn't something locked away in a government vault or hidden in distant galaxies, but quietly revealing itself in the woods of Pennsylvania? That's the question at the center of one YouTube channel that documents it all. The channel is called Deb's Local PA Alien and Dimensional Research. And unlike viral creators or loud personalities, Deb's isn't here to entertain. She's here to observe, to record, and to question. She walks into the woods alone, nearly every day, camera in hand, trying to understand what's happening in these small patches of forest. Her videos don't rely on dramatics, they rely on presence. It starts with the sounds. The moment she steps out of her car, you hear it, a shift in tone.
The Mad Hatter. Oops, I'm in the street now. Hello.
The birds go quiet. The static in the air thickens. In one video, she barely sets foot outside before she spots movement just off the trail. Something short and fast, ducking behind a tree before the camera can catch it. Watch for yourself as Debs notices something near the brush line, before the day's investigation even begins.
I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? What is that?
There's no announcement, no build-up. She quietly says, "There's something over there," and moves in closer. That's the rhythm of her work. Calm, deliberate, focused. What she's seeing or sensing never stays long. It's like the woods let you glimpse things, but only if you don't stare too long. On that same trail, she returns weeks later and finds the Little Red Door.
We were at the Little Red Door, obviously. I just said that.
Not a fairy tale, a real tiny wooden door, fitted neatly into the base of a tree. It wasn't there before. Next to it, a Canadian flag, a plastic frog, a gnome. The scene looks staged, like someone built a shrine, but no one claims it. No trails lead to it. And when she comes back a few days later, the setup is rearranged. Not vandalized, rearranged. As if something or someone interacted with it. Watch for yourself as she quietly documents the arrangement and questions how it keeps changing.
I hope I see the black things when I get out of the car.
Debs doesn't offer explanations. She films, she reacts, and she leaves space for viewers to interpret. That's what makes her footage compelling. One video captures what she calls a portal tree. She's shown it in multiple videos. Its trunk twisted in a strange way, spiraling in toward itself like it's folding inward. The leaves around it shimmer slightly when the sun hits a certain angle. But it's not light distortion. It's different, and near that same tree, she hears something whispering. Not voices, just a vibration, like static rising and falling right in her ear. Later in the same area, a small shape appears behind a tree. No face, just a gray outline, low to the ground. She stays silent and films it until it's gone. Watch for yourself. She turns the camera slowly and catches the figure peeking out, almost playfully, before it vanishes.
There's 1, 2, 3 in between this tree right here. Yes, there was. There's one and 1, 2.
There are no dramatic sound effects in her videos, no narration or interviews, just raw footage, subtle clues, and the feeling that something intelligent might be watching from just beyond the frame. Watch for yourself. The entire clearing holds a kind of tension, like something invisible is standing still, waiting.
Oh, what's going on? Did you guys crash again?
She never claims to know exactly what she's encountering. Her videos are not about conclusions. They're about moments, glimpses. Signs that we are not alone, but that whoever or whatever else is out there doesn't always want to be seen. And maybe that's why the videos are so haunting, because they don't scream for attention. They whisper, they suggest. They leave you with a question. If it were you in those woods, would you even notice something watching?
But anyway, I mean, I knew because I would see it, but I could not, even scrubbing a video, which is frame by frame by frame, I could not slow it down enough to show you.
Have you ever stared into the trees and felt like something was staring back? Not an animal, not a person, but something else? Something hidden, waiting, in plain sight? That's exactly what Wendy W., the voice behind Turquoise and Sasquatch, believes she's captured. Not once, but several times. And what makes this footage different is that Wendy isn't chasing shadows. She's just living her life, recording her thoughts, filming her garden, and yet the faces still appear. She's casually chatting through her laptop camera, enjoying the birdsong, unaware that something else might be watching her from the woods behind. Her camera's pointed toward a skylight, then later toward the yard, and in the background, obscured at first, there's something unnatural. Watch yourself.
Now, the face that I actually posted on my community tab, hopefully you can make it out.
Wendy isn't a thrill seeker, she's a believer. A woman of faith, grounded in the teachings of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Her content is filled with peaceful reflections, but also a deeper, more spiritual awareness. For her, Sasquatch and other entities aren't cryptids or myths. They're real, and tied to something much bigger than science dares explain. She revisits her 2020 video, just a simple backyard clip. At first glance, it's uneventful. Birds fly in and out of the frame. The trees sway gently. But Wendy pauses at 1:33. Something changes. She zooms in and sees it. A face, half-shadowed, seemingly built into the tree itself. It hadn't been visible before. It wasn't obvious, but it's there now. She doesn't panic. Instead, she quietly studies it. "I didn't see that before," she admits. She fast-forwards a few seconds, rewinds, zooms in again. Another form emerges just to the left. This one is darker, broader, and this time, the shape resembles something with mass. A figure, not imagined but obscured by nature. Watch this part carefully.
Stop it, like I pause it and then I zoom in, and a lot of the times I'm very lucky when I pause it and there'll be a face. Other times it's hard to catch it, but I hope you can see that.
What's even stranger is the birds. Wendy points out that the goldfinches fluttering don't seem disturbed at all, as if these entities and the animals coexist peacefully, as if this is normal for them. That detail might seem small, but it matters. Not reflections, not tricks of light, at least not according to Wendy, and her viewers agree. She posts the stills on her community tab. Many say they see the same thing, some see even more. She analyzes the garden shot. Behind her old grill frame, there's yet another figure, static, watching. This one wasn't obvious in earlier reviews, but under the right lighting, in the right freeze frame, the shape becomes distinct. It's positioned just within the woods. Still, expressionless, present. These aren't just tree stumps that look like faces, not in Wendy's mind. These are spiritual entities, blending into nature, only visible when they choose to be. Maybe watchers, maybe something older, maybe even part of a forgotten biblical truth, now resurfacing. She brings up something she's said many times before. The veil is thinning. The line between what's physical and what's spiritual is wearing away. More and more people are seeing what was once hidden. And her garden footage, she believes, is one small example of that. She continues her process. Zoom, pause, compare. Frame by frame, she finds new details. Each moment reveals more than the last. And yet, there's always an ambiguity, a sense of the unknown. As the camera pans through her backyard one final time, she stands quiet. You can hear the breeze, the birds, the calm of her surroundings, but there's also a tension. Something's there, behind the trees, behind the veil.
Okay, and I hope you can see there's a face there. I hope you can make that face out. Okay?
And here's where it gets personal. For Wendy, these aren't just encounters. They're spiritual confirmations, not only of a hidden world, but of her role within it. A role of watching, documenting, and sharing, because maybe that's what she's been called to do. So what do you see when you look at this footage? Is it just trees and shadows? Or is it something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've caught something strange in your own backyard, share your story. Wendy's still searching, and maybe so are you. What if alien life wasn't something locked away in a government vault or hidden in distant galaxies, but quietly revealing itself in the woods of Pennsylvania? That's the question at the center of one YouTube channel that documents it all. The channel is called Deb's Local PA Alien and Dimensional Research. And unlike viral creators or loud personalities, Deb's isn't here to entertain. She's here to observe, to record, and to question. She walks into the woods alone, nearly every day, camera in hand, trying to understand what's happening in these small patches of forest. Her videos don't rely on dramatics, they rely on presence. It starts with the sounds. The moment she steps out of her car, you hear it, a shift in tone.
The Mad Hatter. Oops, I'm forgetting the street now. Hello.
The birds go quiet. The static in the air thickens. In one video, she barely sets foot outside before she spots movement just off the trail. Something short and fast, ducking behind a tree before the camera can catch it. Watch for yourself as Debs notices something near the brush line, before the day's investigation even begins.
I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? What is that?
There's no announcement, no build-up. She quietly says, "There's something over there," and moves in closer. That's the rhythm of her work. Calm, deliberate, focused. What she's seeing or sensing never stays long. It's like the woods let you glimpse things, but only if you don't stare too long. On that same trail, she returns weeks later and finds the little red door.
We were at the little red door, obviously. I just said that.
Not a fairy tale, a real tiny wooden door fitted neatly into the base of a tree. It wasn't there before. Next to it, a Canadian flag, a plastic frog, a gnome. The scene looks staged, like someone built a shrine, but no one claims it. No trails lead to it. And when she comes back a few days later, the setup is rearranged, not vandalized, rearranged, as if something or someone interacted with it. Watch for yourself as she quietly documents the arrangement and questions how it keeps changing.
I hope I see the black things when I get out of the car.
Debs doesn't offer explanations. She films, she reacts, and she leaves space for viewers to interpret. That's what makes her footage compelling. One video captures what she calls a portal tree. She's shown it in multiple videos, its trunk twisted in a strange way, spiraling in toward itself like it's folding inward. The leaves around it shimmer slightly when the sun hits a certain angle, but it's not light distortion. It's different, and near that same tree, she hears something whispering. Not voices, just a vibration, like static rising and falling right in her ear. Later in the same area, a small shape appears behind a tree. No face, just a gray outline, low to the ground. She stays silent and films it until it's gone. Watch for yourself. She turns the camera slowly and catches the figure peeking out, almost playfully, before it vanishes.
There's 1, 2, 3 in between this tree right here. So what? There's 1 and 1, 2.
There are no dramatic sound effects in her videos, no narration or interviews, just raw footage, subtle clues, and the feeling that something intelligent might be watching from just beyond the frame. Watch for yourself. The entire clearing holds a kind of tension, like something invisible is standing still, waiting.
Oh, what's going on? Did you guys crash again?
She never claims to know exactly what she's encountering. Her videos are not about conclusions. They're about moments, glimpses, signs that we are not alone, but that whoever or whatever else is out there doesn't always want to be seen. And maybe that's why the videos are so haunting, because they don't scream for attention. They whisper, they suggest, they leave you with a question. If it were you in those woods, would you even notice something watching?
But anyway, I mean, I knew because I would see it, but I could not, even scrubbing a video, which is frame by frame by frame, I could not slow it down enough to show you.
What if something ancient still roams the forests of Colorado, building structures, avoiding detection, and observing from the shadows, not a tale, not a rumor, but something that leaves behind hard-to-deny signs? Could it be Bigfoot? That's the question Extreme Mysteries dares to explore. The YouTube channel is dedicated to unraveling real-life paranormal encounters, unexplained creatures, and fringe investigations from deep within the world's most remote regions. No theatrics, no reenactments, just raw footage, unfiltered testimony, and grounded research. Each episode brings forward people who've seen things they can't explain, and footage that will leave most viewers unsettled. This particular investigation heads into Bailey, Colorado.
Bigfoot healing happened within 10 miles of here. Not Bigfoot being healed, but Bigfoot healing someone. Lots of things have happened.
A quiet area now recognized as a hotspot for Sasquatch activity. But this isn't another campfire tale. It starts with a local woman whose house backs directly into dense wilderness. Her encounters didn't begin with sightings, but with structures. Bent trees, stacked limbs, and woven branches began appearing along her property. They weren't there one day, they were the next. She shows the structures on camera. Some reach 6 feet high with trees broken off mid-trunk. No signs of rot, no storm damage. She knows the land. She knows what natural windfall looks like. And this wasn't that. But the real chill sets in when she returns to her gifting site. Stones and objects she had left behind were gone. Others were arranged in unnatural patterns. No raccoon, bear, or bird could have done this, not with this precision. And there were no footprints, no marks in the soil, just movement. That wasn't hers. Watch for yourself.
We actually were able to film what might be a small version of the beast itself.
Right there. Can you not see that? Come right in front of me. Come right in front of me.
As the documentary unfolds, the team joins her in the field, armed with nothing more than a flashlight, a thermal camera, and a sense that they're not alone. The woods around them grow darker, quieter. Then, just as they scan a tree line with the FLR camera, something appears. A tall, upright figure, warm-blooded, human-shaped, slips through the trees. There's no rush to declare what it is. No voiceover claiming Sasquatch, just silence, and a stunned pause. The camera holds still as the heat signature disappears behind the trunks. The team whispers, barely breathing. They're not chasing it, they're being watched. This moment shifts the tone entirely. Watch for yourself.
Can you not see that? Come right in front of me. Come right in front of me. There's something to the right. There's something to the right. Over here.
Back in the daylight, the researchers survey the locations where signs have appeared most frequently. Bent trees line an invisible path. Some trunks are twisted nearly 180 degrees. One is wedged beneath another in a near-impossible pattern. None of this follows the logic of natural forest decay. The camera lingers on a freshly broken limb, still green and oozing sap. Locals begin sharing what they've seen. A man recalls red eyes glowing 10 feet off the ground near his back fence. He wasn't the kind of person to tell stories, but he saw it. And now, he doesn't walk that stretch of land after dark. Another woman describes hearing what sounded like language, guttural, patterned, but not human. None of them claim certainty, just experience. Later, the team revisits a place where wood knocks were recorded months earlier. As night falls, something shifts in the energy of the place. One investigator stares into the brush, insisting he's being observed. He can't explain it, but he knows it. And just behind him, something tall and dark flickers between the trees. There's no dramatic cut, just a still frame, a pause, and the kind of unease that only comes when nature feels just a little too quiet. Watch for yourself.
Then, Alan stepped back with this SLS device and saw something amazing. A humanoid figure, invisible to the naked eye, appears to be dancing in the tree.
That's the power of extreme mysteries. It doesn't shout, it doesn't edit for thrills. It documents exactly what's seen and heard, and leaves the rest up to the viewer. The episode doesn't try to prove the existence of Bigfoot. It simply lays out a pattern, structures, sounds, movement, silence, and asks the question, if not them, then who? Something out there is interacting, it's building, it's watching, and whatever it is, it's careful. So what do you think? Is there a presence hiding in the forests of Bailey, Colorado? Are these isolated experiences, or are they pieces of a much larger truth? Leave a comment, share your thoughts. And if you've had an encounter of your own, it might just fit the puzzle they're still trying to complete. Have you ever looked into the heart of a swamp and felt like something was looking back? Not a gator, not a bird, but something bigger, something older, something watching. This isn't just another blurry frame or shaky story. This might just be the clearest footage of a swamp-dwelling Sasquatch we've ever seen. Let's break it down. The footage comes to us through Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, a YouTube channel dedicated to tracking Bigfoot sightings across the Rocky Mountains and Pacific Northwest. Known for weekly updates, they don't just repost videos, they analyze, stabilize, and investigate. Their goal? To bring us closer than ever to the edge of discovery. And this time, they just might have done it. This raw clip, first submitted to Bigfoot Evidence, was filmed near Lettuce Lake Park. The uploader was canoeing alone through the swamp when he spotted something odd, something he first thought was a bear. But the deeper he looked, the less that theory made sense. In the video, we see a massive, upright creature moving smoothly through the water. Its arms swing long, its stride is confident. It doesn't stumble, it flows through the thick swamp as if it's done it 1,000 times before. This isn't a random blur in the trees. This is a clear form, caught at close range, acting like it owns the place. Watch closely as the creature turns its head toward the boater, then silently slips into the deeper swamp. The channel didn't stop there. They zoomed, stabilized, and enhanced the footage, frame by frame.
There was only like a frame or two that it actually looks at the cameraman or the guy in the canoe before it heads off to deeper water.
And what they found was chilling. In one brief moment, the creature appears to be holding a snake. Possibly dinner. Could be a cottonmouth, given the region.
Range shots that we did of this are just amazing, especially where it shows its face as it peeks at the cameraman and heads off into the swamp with its snake dinner. I believe that's probably a snake. Makes me wonder if it's a cottonmouth.
But that's not even the strangest part. As it catches the camera's gaze, for just a second, its face becomes visible. Not enough to explain it, just enough to haunt you. And then, gone. The original boater wrote in again, emphasizing the danger of where this encounter took place. He wasn't near a trail or a safe zone. He was deep in an area filled with 12-foot gators and venomous moccasins. If it was a person, he wrote, they were either a professional or completely insane. Watch for yourself the exact moment it ducks under the water and vanishes without a trace.
But when I looked closer, I noticed that it had long swinging arms and moved through a very thick swamp with ease. Certainly can't explain it myself.
There was no splash, no struggle, just one breath, one glance, and then nothing. He paddled to where it had disappeared and found absolutely no sign. Many commenters questioned whether it was a prank. But let's be honest, who's diving into snake and gator-infested waters for a hoax? You'd need more than guts. You'd need a death wish. The backstory adds even more credibility. The witness had no intention of going public until he saw a local news report weeks later, where even the mayor acknowledged unusual sightings near the area. That's when he decided to send the video to Bigfoot Evidence. And what the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch channel did next? They gave it the attention it deserved. Look for yourself. This freeze frame from the enhanced footage shows an outline of the face just before it slides behind the trees. The channel's deep dives don't just entertain, they fuel the search. They keep the mystery alive without selling it as fiction. Every upload is a step toward something bigger, something we're all a little scared to admit. Might actually be out there. So now it's your turn. What do you see in that footage? A swamp monster? A misidentified animal? Or the legendary Sasquatch on the move? So what exactly did that hidden camera capture in the woods? A hoax? A hiker? Or something we've been denying for too long? The figure hasn't returned since, but the footage remains. Clear, unedited, and still unexplained. And now we want to hear from you. Was it Bigfoot, a rogue predator, or something else entirely? Leave your theories below.